Everybody to this demonstration. P.Diddy is the real reason hip hop is dead. Is Big U calling the cops on folks? But before I get started with this demonstration, can I get you to hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel? I want to salute everybody that's catching this on the replay. I want to salute everybody that's watching from the clouds. I want to salute all of my moderators. Big salute to the whole Rock Squad. Salute you, him, her, and salute everyone. I wanted to do this demonstration because I see a lot of rappers, and one particular rapper, I'm going to mention his name, Fat Joe, but I see some rappers from back in the 90s that used to sneak diss P. Diddy, that used to talk how P. Diddy is ruining hip hop. I see these same rappers today coming to P. Diddy's defense. I say it all the time. People have to stop being fake. People have to stop being phony. In real time, it's no gray area. In real time, it's black or white. Either you like the person or you don't like the person. So I definitely want to chop it up about P. Diddy destroying hip hop. And we're going to chop it up. Is it true that Big U, a well-known gangster from the rolling 60s Crips out there in LA, who allegedly is responsible for Nipsey Hussle's death, is he calling the police? One thing about social media can be a blessing or social media can be a curse. Social media can break you or social media can make you. Why is it a lot, not just Big U, but why is a lot of the OGs, notorious gangbangers and gangsters, now they're turning to social media and starting to run their mouth? But I want us to focus on P. Diddy. Now, Nas used to sneak this P. Diddy as well. And Nas came out, I believe it was maybe 10 years ago, with an album, Hip Hop is Dead. But Nas was taking shots at the down south rappers. A lot of people think that the down south rappers, with their trap music, a lot of people thought that the down south rappers are the ones that's responsible for hip hop being commercialized, or either hip hop not being what it was when the founding forefathers created hip hop. And if they wasn't thinking that down south rappers messed up hip hop, some was thinking that the West Coast messed up hip hop with gangster rap. But that's not true. That's not true. Because there were gangster rappers way before NWA came. There were gangster rappers before Ice Cube, MC Ren, and Easy E and them. So we know it wasn't the West Coast that messed up hip hop. You had Cool G Rap. You had Just Ice. You had Eric B. and Rakim. You had Schoolie D was from Philadelphia. You had rappers, MC Shan. You had rappers that did glorify the gangster lifestyle way before NWA. You had trappers, you had rappers glorifying the drug era. They try to say, well, the down south rappers, they brought in the trap music. Trap music has always been around. It just wasn't labeled trap music. Biggie, if you listen to Biggie, the 10, what's the song? When he breaking down the 10 crack commandments. That's trap music. So I want us to focus on P. Diddy. And as I said before in the previous demonstration, we are the ones that created P. Diddy. We are the ones that created Puff Daddy, believe it or not. I'm always vocal about taking accountability in what we created as far as negativity. I'll be the first one to raise my hand and tell y'all I played a part in that. We quick to talk about the kids of the day, but the kids are only imitating what they seen or what they heard us do and say. Go back to when P. Diddy, when Bad Boys first came out. Right before Bad Boys and them came out, right before P. Diddy and them came out, it was a era in hip hop that was called the backpackers. That was Smith and Wesson, Boot Camp. You had EPMD. You had the Death Squad. You had Keith Murray. And Keith Murray was in Biggie video and the Brat video, but they were part of an era called the Backpackers. Craig Mack. Now, before P. Diddy, the rappers, majority of them was from New York, and they rapped grimy. Y'all remember Onyx? Slam. Dun, 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 dun. Let the boys be boys. Those rappers, right before Bad Boys took off, those rappers rapped grimy, right? Bad Boys' first artist was Craig Mack. And Craig Mack rapped grimy. And that was one of the issues that P. Diddy and Craig Mack had, because P. Diddy was able to transform Biggie Smalls from grimy and underground, because remember, Big rapped grimy and underground. But like Puffy told Big, if you don't make something for the radio, you're just going to be an unknown underground rapper. And he took Big from the army fatigue pants, the jeans, the baggy sweatpants and all that, the hat pulled over his head, looking all grimy and everything. He took Big from that image the same way that he took the locks. But he took Biggie from that image and gave Biggie another image. What's up, Ricky? I see you, Ricky. Appreciate you for pulling up, Ricky. I see you down there. Salute, Rick. I see. Appreciate you for pulling up. So he took Biggie from this underground rapper and turned him into a player. That was one of the issues that Pac had with Biggie. You out there living my lifestyle, you stealing my image, you taking the rules and you taking everything to this game that I put you on with, and you ain't showing me no kind of respect. Remember, that's what Pac said in one of his interviews. So Puffy tried to get Craig Mack to make that same transition from the grimy underground rapper. But Craig Mack wasn't having it. Craig Mack didn't want to take that route. So that was Craig Mack and Puffy's first beef with each other. Right, Rick? Rick, Rick, you remember the backpackers. Because remember, you and Clay, y'all used to wear the backpackers. Remember y'all used to wear the backpackers? The whole Wu-Tang and all of them. That's that era. Now, when P. Diddy comes out, P. Diddy did what? Not only did he take the rappers from dressing grimy and rapping grimy, he replaced that with the player lifestyle. The popping bottles, popping popping champagnes, wearing Versace. You know, he gave him that player image. But that's not what really had the backpackers on P. Diddy's head about messing up hip hop. P. Diddy was the first producer that took sampling to a whole new nother level. Now, you had producers that would use a sample here and use a sample there, but no producer before P. Diddy was making a whole song from a sample record from a 60s or 70s or even an 80s record. So P. Diddy come with the whole sample game. He flipped the whole sample game. And the backpackers wasn't having it. The backpackers was on P. Diddy's head. The backpackers, those backpacker rappers, was on P. Diddy's head about messing hip hop up. I'm going to go to Gene Deal because I love to go to Gene Deal because Gene Deal was there in the beginning of Bad Boys. Gene Deal might have been there. Let's just say Gene Deal was definitely there in the beginning of Bad Boy Records and the middle part of Bad Boy Records. Gene Deal is always giving us exclusive information about what was taking place behind Bad Boy. But let's listen to Gene Deal. And we're going to start with Gene Deal. And let's hear what Gene Deal has to say about how Craig Mack felt about P. Diddy. And then we're going to, I'm going to load up some more audio. But let's go to Gene Deal and see what Gene Deal got to say. Salute everybody down there. Yvette C, Tam. I see everybody. Colton, I see y'all. Salute.
What was the issue between Craig Mack and Puffy?
Craig Mack manager, right? Puff told Craig Mack if he didn't change management, he wasn't fucking with him no more. You understand?
And that's the second issue that they had. Craig Mack changing managers. See, once you start changing managers and once you start to learn the game, the record executives and the people in the industry, they'll get mad with you because then they'll know that they can't control you and they can't control the money. They always want you to have the managers that they give you, or they tell you, yeah, that's a cool person to be your manager. But once you start to think and you see it for what it is, if I use the manager from the record label, it's going to be a conflict of interest. The conflict of interest is the manager for the label is always going to look out for the record company. Salute Michael X, I see you.
And they had a real big beef behind that. And Craig wasn't getting rid of his management. I guess the dude had been with him for a long time. So Craig said, yo, listen here, man, I'm not changing my managers because you want to. Because Craig wanted his money for his music. So Puff said, yo, I ain't fucking with that kid no more. Not at all. I was right there when he said that. Told Craig Mack, you don't change your management, I ain't fucking with you.
And it got to a point where Biggie, he had a problem with Craig Mack too, right? What was the issue he had with Craig Mack? Because I've seen an interview that Biggie did with Little C's, right? And he said that he didn't fuck with Craig Mack in that interview. I never understood that, man. What was the issue between the two?
At the time was hotter than Big.
Did y'all hear that?
I said this before. If it wasn't for Craig Mack, so Big, you gotta realize Ready to Die was out for 6 months and it wasn't doing no numbers.
It's true. Because during that time, during that era, hip hop was strictly, and this is why you'll hear people talk about the real hip hop or strictly hip hop. Because right during that time that he's talking about, hip hop was all about being grimy, dressing grimy, talking grimy, and looking grimy. Craig Mack fit that description. Craig Mack was grimy. He dressed grimy, he looked grimy, and he talked grimy. Now, Craig Mack was before Big. As he stated, the Ready to Die album was out for 6 months, but it wasn't doing no numbers. The Ready to Die album didn't take off until they put Biggie on that Flavor in Your Ear remix with Rampage, LL, Craig Mack, and I think one more person. When they put Big on that remix, that's when the album Ready to Die took off. Big, once Puffy switched Big's persona, once he switched his image and he was able to get Big to that next level, Big was very talented. But as an underground rapper, Big was just that. Big was just another underground rapper. Now, once Puff switched it and flipped it, then Big started to display the talent that he had. But in the very beginning of Big's career, Big was just an underground rapper, an unknown underground rapper.
When Big got on that remix on Craig Mack's song, and he went first on Craig Mack's song. When he did that remix, then it started been looking up for him. But Big from Brooklyn, you understand? If you wasn't from Brooklyn, Big really wasn't fucking with you on the for real, for real.
And it's been said that Craig Mack, he was going to Death Row, right? How did Biggie and Puffy feel about that? Because at that time, they was beefing with Death Row, Suge Knight and Tupac. So, so how did they feel about that?
Listen very careful what he's about to say. He's about to drop a jewel. Craig Mack was going to go to Death Row. Death Row had a Death Row East. Listen, for those that try to paint the picture that Suge Knight started the East and West Coast, negative. For those that want to say Tupac started the West Coast, East Coast, negative. The East Coast and West Coast beef was already there way before Death Row. Way before Death Row. Way before Tupac came out and released Hit 'Em Up and All Eyes on Me. The East and West Coast beef was already there. But listen to what he's about to say about Death Row East. And Craig Mack was going to sign to Death Row East. He was going to be the first artist on Death Row East. Listen.
Let's get into him, knowing that he was about to sign with Death Row?
Now, I didn't hear anything about that, but I knew that Craig Mack was going to sign to Death Row. He was going to be their first artist on Death Row East. He was coming in there with Eric B. Eric B and Big D was going to run that label. You understand what I'm saying? So Craig Mack was going to be their first artist. He was supposed to be performing that night at, I think it's 662?
Yeah, Club 662 in Vegas.
Yeah, Club 662 in Vegas, the night Pac got killed. Craig Mack was supposed to be performing there at that club that night.
And see, they were trying to that whole bad boy Death Row. They were trying to nip it in the bud because the East Coast and West Coast beef, it was there. It just didn't blossom yet. But they knew that if we don't nip this in the bud, salute row left. If we don't nip this in the bud, it's going to get ugly and somebody going to lose their lives. So they had a representative from Death Row East, Eric B and them, and they wanted to meet with a representative from Bad Boy so they could nip it in the bud. But guess who declined? Puff Daddy. P.Diddy declined that meeting. See, if they would have had that meeting right then and there with Death Row executives and Bad Boy executives, they'd have nipped that in the bud. They would have nipped that in the bud. We probably wouldn't have heard Hit 'Em Up. Some of them songs on All Eyes on Me and some of them songs on Machiavelli, we probably wouldn't have never heard because they would have nipped it in the bud. But Puffy declined that interview. Listen.
And I was going to set out the Death Row East shit. See, what people don't understand,
My bad.
man, there was people that was trying to stop this whole shit before it got to that point, because I guess they realized, yo, listen to me, man, somebody gonna die behind this shit. You understand? So they tried to have that meeting, and I talked about that meeting before, where the people who was running Death Row East wanted to talk to Bad Boy, and they needed a representative, and Puff wouldn't come to the table with them. Man, Craig Mack went to his grave mad at Bad Boy. Craig Mack told his people, told the religious people, that don't let them pay for shit of mine. I don't want them to pay for nothing in my death. You gotta be mad at a motherfucker, man.
Kirk Burrows. I want to go back to this interview.
See, P. Diddy had some tricks up his sleeve, y'all. I'm telling y'all. He had some tricks up his sleeve because he could have easily, that situation could have easily been deaded. And that's what grown men do. That's what gangsters do. When you got problems, men are going to sit down and men are going to try to figure out a way to iron this thing out before it leads to bloodshed. Same way in the gangster world. Gangsters are going to meet with other gangsters to prevent bloodshed. Watch the movie The Godfather. Who's familiar with The Godfather? If you're familiar with The Godfather, when they unalived Sonny at the toll plaza joint, and when the Don was able to get his strength back, because remember they tried to assassinate him, but the Don, he caught a meeting with the other crime families, with the other mafia families. He could have easily took them to war, but he knew, and he said it, if we go to war, is that going to bring your son back? If we go to war, is that going to bring my son back? If we go to war, it's going to be bad for business. And the Eric B and the other ones that was involved, they knew it. They knew it. And anybody that been there, anybody that done any time in the streets, anybody that's getting money or was getting money, they know beefing is the last thing that we want to do. Why? Because if we beef, number one, bodies gonna start dropping. Number two, the feds is going to start investigating. Remember what I said. You can get as much money as you want in the game. However, when bodies start dropping, when dead bodies start popping up, the feds is coming. The feds is coming. So Eric B and them, they knew eventually somebody's going to lose their life, and eventually two people lost their lives, Biggie and Pac. Now, a lot of money was made from both of their deaths. Now, Suge's side, Death Row side, they wanted to nip this in the bud. Bad Boy side, P. Diddy declined it because P. Diddy knew a dead rapper is going to make me more money than a rapper that's still alive, that's trying to get off of my label or trying to get away from me. This rapper, if he's left alive, this rapper is going to cause me a lot of money. But if this rapper ends up dead, I can make as much money off of this dead rapper as I can. I'm coming, y'all. Salute OG Patrice. Salute everybody down there. I see y'all. Salute. Salute Yvette C. Salute Angel. Let's see what else Gene did. Let's listen.
Giving the young rapper his first notable exposure.
Don't try to blame me for that same then it gonna be until it's gone. You goddamn right.
In that same year of 1992, Puffy decided to establish Bad Boy Records, where Mack released Flava In Your Ear. And as we mentioned earlier, the track became the label's first hit. But its remix became even more popular as it features Rampage, LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes, and of course, the Notorious B.I.G.
You're mad cause my style admiring. Bad UPS is higher.
Biggie became the label's second signing, and in the pictures, it seemed like they were getting along and all that. However, that positive vibe was just a front for the cameras. Biggie hated Mack, and that became apparent after Mack left Bad Boy Records, and the Brooklyn rapper began speaking negatively about him.
Mack? Nah, fuck that too. It was just something I had to do, you know what I'm saying? That's politics. Pop asked me to do it, and I did it.
The very same Gene Deal said that in 1994, Biggie envied Craig Mack. Why's that? Well, it's because Mack was more popular than him. Even after the release of the Ready to Die album, nothing changed. Mack was still the main guy at Bad Boy.
And that's because, as I stated, that's because we were still in the backpack era. We were still in that backpack era. The rappers was wearing backpacks. The rappers was rapping grimy. The rappers was looking grimy. It was all about grimy. Onyx, Boot Camp, Smith & Wesson, Wu-Tang. Remember Wu-Tang when they first came out? And Big took a jab at Wu-Tang in one of his raps. He says, y'all was grimy in the 90s. See, this is the one thing that I liked about Pop. Pop didn't do no subliminal dissing. You knew exactly who Pop was talking about. You ain't have to guess. But with Biggie and a lot of other rappers, the subliminal disses, they call it darts. They was throwing darts back and forth at each other. They kept throwing darts at each other. But this is the backpack era, okay? This is before that Flavor in Your Ear remix popped off and took Big to that next level. And then P.Diddy was able to get a bigger budget. He was able to get a bigger budget. I know it was in the millions. He was able to get a budget to work on the marketing and managing side. And what he done was he changed the whole style. Mace, I got a record with Mace, DMX, and the Locks. And it's called Ninjas Done Started Something. Because Mace used to be Murder Mace. But P. Diddy changed Mace's image. He changed the Locks image. He changed Biggie's image. And that's when the terminology of hip hop is being dead started. A lot of y'all think that album that Nas dropped about 10 years ago, hip hop is dead. A lot of y'all think that the down south rappers and all of that is the reason why hip hop is dead. No. The reason, and I put some money on it if I'm lying. You go ask anybody from that era. The number one reason why hip hop is dead was P. Diddy. But the Fat Joe and the other rappers from the 90s that try to slide in defense of P. Diddy, y'all on that bullshit. Let's keep it 100, y'all. Let's keep it 100. Let's call a spade a spade. Fat Joe, you is taking shots at P. Diddy as well. All of y'all from that era, from that grimy era in the early 90s, when P. Diddy came through and took sampling to another level, when P. Diddy changed the way the rappers dressed, Fat Joe, you was probably second in line that was taking shots at P. Diddy and talking about how P. Diddy messed hip hop up. I'll put some money on that. I'll put some money on that. Let's see what we got right here. So if anybody want to know what happened to hip hop, start with P. Diddy. And with all of these accusations that are coming out about P. Diddy, nobody from R. Kelly, from Suge Knight, nobody got nothing on P. Diddy. You heard of a rapper, most rappers, they get jammed up for a pistol. Lil Wayne went to jail for a pistol. T.I. for a pistol. Most rappers, you know, that's surrounding their name. A gun, some dope, some weed, maybe some affairs with their wives and stuff like that. Maybe they got hooked on drugs. But nobody in the history of hip hop, you could put all the rappers, you could put the executives, you could put the producers, you could put them all together, and they still don't come nowhere near the accusations that is brought up against P. Diddy. See, when P. Diddy came through, P. Diddy did more than sample records. P. Diddy did more than bring on the player lifestyle and change the way the rappers talk and change the way the rappers dress. P. Diddy did a little bit more than that. P. Diddy took it to a whole new nother level. Sex trafficking. Will we see what Jaguar Wright had to say about my man from New Jack City? Is it Christopher Williams? They caught Christopher Williams on his knees in the office giving head to P. Diddy. Nobody wasn't doing that type of stuff. Nobody wasn't into all that type stuff. If we go back to the 80s with Luke, now Luke had the type of parties that everybody wanted to be at. All them freak parties that Luke had, no accusations. None of these accusations. Not even one female. And if you was around during the time of Two Live Crew, you know the type of parties that Luke was throwing. Not one female came out after 40 years, 35 years. Not one female to this day has came out with any sexual accusations. Not one. It was unheard of. The rappers, the executives wasn't getting down like that. It's a line. And certain lines you just don't cross. Y'all might say, Shank, okay, if all of this is true, why are you riding hard on P. Diddy? Why are you going hard on P. Diddy? Why are you destroying another black man? I ain't destroying a black man. I do believe that this black man has destroyed himself. I'm going to say it again. I ain't destroyed this black man. I believe that this black man has destroyed himself. I know some of y'all feel like, but every time a black man becomes successful, they always trying to tear him down. P. Diddy is not Malcolm X. P. Diddy is not Martin Luther King. The work that P. Diddy has done and is doing is nowhere near the work that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King was doing. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King was all about the liberation of our people. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, Thurgood Marshall, and the rest of those men and women, they were about the upliftment of our people. They wasn't running around here, They wasn't running around here with all this foolishness going on. So when we take a look at P. Diddy, we got to call a spade a spade. And I know another thing y'all going to hit me with. But what about the Epstein dude? What's his name? Jeffrey Epstein. But what about the white men? Woody woo 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 woo. White men ain't my problem. White women ain't my problem because I'm not white. Black people is my problem and holding us accountable. Because there's black men like P. Diddy that give other black men like myself a bad name. We already got it bad already. As a black man, I already got it bad. So the first thing that people are able to do, told you them black men ain't shit. Let me jump to the chat, y'all. Leslie, salute. Leslie says P. Diddy did this to himself. That's facts. Salute, boss man. I see you. Blue Devil G. I see y'all. Diddy, the Black Epstein. He did it to himself. He did it to himself. Let me see what we got right here, y'all.
Mack's album, called Funk the World, was released a week after the release of Biggie's album. Mack debuted at number 6 on the charts, while at the same time, Big only got the 15th position. Everything changed after the Flava remix, which at the same time helped promote Biggie. Of course, in the future, Ready to Die became an iconic album and surpassed Funk the World. However, like it or not, Mack helped Biggie gain popularity. And when Biggie became more popular, Mack faded into the background. Misunderstandings started to come up between him and Puffy. I'll now play an excerpt from an interview, and you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Listen.
We got a new album we're working on him to drop in January. Besides that, we about to just drop our R&B stuff.
The Puff Daddy album.
Here for some reason.
I wish y'all could see Craig Mack's face. But see, when Puffy said we about to drop a R&B record, that's when hip-hop really took the transition to being flipped. Because prior to P. Diddy coming through, now don't get me wrong, those records, those were some classic records. I ain't gonna deny that. I'm keeping 100. Those records that P. Diddy sampled and how P. Diddy was able to bring rap and R&B together, I feel like was a brilliant idea. But I'm talking about the people that considered hip-hop being dead behind all of that. For me, I was sipping my drink. I was in the club. I was two-stepping to them records that P. Diddy made. But before Bad Boys, it was unheard of rappers to have R&B records. You might have had one or two. Rakim had the joint with Jody Watley. That was one. LL was famous for doing it. But during that backpack era, rappers wasn't doing that. Rappers wasn't mixing the R&B. So P. Diddy took it to a whole nother level And that's, I'm looking at Craig Mack's face. I wish y'all could see Craig Mack's face. But when P. Diddy mentioned this R&B, up and coming R&B record, that's when hip hop took its downfall in the eyesight of the strictly hip hoppers, the backpackers. Most of y'all don't even know nothing about that era, strictly hip hop, the backpack era. Most of y'all do, but most of y'all don't. Most of y'all don't even know about the conscious era of hip hop. There were eras in hip hop. It wasn't just always drill music for my millenniums. It wasn't always trap music. It wasn't always gangster rap. It was different genres of hip hop. And the genre that I'm talking about, the era that I'm talking about, was right before the popping the champagne and wearing the designer clothes. I'm talking about an era called the backpack era. And that's when Bad Boys started. And their first artist was Craig Mack. Craig Mack was a backpacker.
Reason Diddy said that they are planning on releasing a second album by Craig Mack. But judging by the rapper's reaction, it became apparent that that's not true. We, in fact, never got a second album from him. Later, in 1995, Mack got the Statuette Trophy for the Best Rap Single at the 1995 Source Awards.
Hey, yo, God bless y'all. Word is born. God bless everybody out there.
And this was the last moment of fame in Craig Mack's career, where his conflict with Diddy later began, and which ended with him leaving the label.
When Craig Mack changed his manager, Puff didn't like him for whatever reason he didn't. He told Craig, if you don't fire your manager, then you can't work for Bad Boy.
During that time, Suge was planning to establish Death Row East, where Mack was supposed to be the label's first signing and perform at the 662 Club in Las Vegas. It was supposed to take place on that particular night when Tupac, who had a concert at that club, was murdered. This idea never materialized because of the beef between the East and West Coast. Not to mention that Mack's transition to Death Row's side could have ended tragically.
I met Suge, you know what I'm saying? Suge's a good brother. The brother showed me nothing but love and respect.
And see, this is what, did y'all hear what Craig Mack said? He said, I met Suge, and Suge showed me nothing but mad love and respect. See, this is what I was saying in the last demonstration. You're going to have a handful of people that's going to talk ill about Suge Knight. You will. And rightfully so, some of them do. But then you're going to have a handful of people that's going to give Suge his props. They're going to say some good things about Suge. Can P. Diddy say that? I think maybe one or two people that dealt with Puff Daddy had something nice to say. But if you put if you put P. Diddy and Suge and you put them in front of the people, believe it or not, more people are going to give Suge Knight credit over P. Diddy. All right, let's see what Craig Mack is saying in this.
There's nothing more powerful than you.
I'm going to jump down to the chat, y'all. I see y'all in the chat. This Craig Mack.
And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to God. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this. But if it comes to getting ugly where somebody's going to be trying to kill me, I'm going to have to do something first or do something to prevent that.
Now, this is Craig Mack warning us about Diddy being the devil. Listen.
The Y'all remember Craig Mack? Well, even if you don't, you probably remember Flava in Your Ear if you were old enough to be jamming tunes in 1994. Craig Mack was the voice and brain behind one of the most iconic songs of the late 90s, but his career hit a dead end before he even got used to the spotlight, and there's one person at the center of the drama. You could probably guess who, but I bet you'd still be surprised at some of the details in this tea. Craig Mack was bringing the Flava in Your Ear, but he was told to shush before he could become a hip-hop icon in his own right. Who did the shushing? Well, we'll get to that in a sec, but if there's one thing you should know, it's that this tea is about to be hot. Can you imagine being so fed up with your record label boss that you found religion instead of sticking with the BS? Because that's exactly what Craig Mack did.
And that's the same thing that Mace did. So that's two former Bad Boy Records that turned to religion, after Bad Boys. That's two. Mace became a pastor, and now Craig Mack. Let's listen to some more.
The rapper and producer passed away in 2018, but he left us some pretty solid hits and hints, and his cane was pointing right at none other than Puff Diddy himself. The tabloids, threads, and tweets have said it for months and years, but Craig Mack's short-lived career might just be the final proof that Diddy's dealings are downright evil. A lot of the scandals and rumors seem blown out of proportion, but when you find someone who chose to join a well-known religious group that's pretty much referred to as a cult, just as an escape from the life he had working with Diddy, then it's so worth talking about. But before we get into the deets, let's do a quick recap for those who don't know Craig Mack. Craig Jameson. Mack, popularly known as Craig Mack, was born in the Bronx, New York, and raised on Long Island. His stage name was MC Easy, and he began rapping when he was still a teenager, and his talent shone very early as he started going on tours pretty early in his career in the music industry. In a 1995 profile in the New York Times, Craig said he was introduced to rap music by his cousins at age 9, and he began to write his own lyrics at age 12. I knew I wanted to be like LL Cool J and Run DMC, he recalled. Starting out early meant that Craig became friends with industry OGs like Alvin Toney, and that eventually set him on the path to both the highlight and downfall of his career. Alvin Toney set up an opportunity that made it possible for Craig to rap for Sean Combs, aka Diddy, and because he was just that good, Craig was able to secure a record deal with Combs' newly founded label Bad Boy Records, and he became the first rapper to release music under the label. Craig's 1994 single, Flava in Your Ear, became a chart topper that went as far as #1 on Billboard's U.S.
Let me come to Gene Deal. Leslie says Diddy was 2 shades of blue. Gene Deal, when Gene Deal speak on it, you know Gene Deal get it up. Let's see what we got here. Mike says Diddy is a threat to every child in America. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Randall says Diddy and Meek fight over the vibrator. Let me see what Gene talking about in there. Tupac tried to warn us. Yeah, Tupac tried. Tupac definitely tried to warn us.
What was the issue between Craig Mack and Puffy?
Craig Mack manager, right? Puff told Craig Mack if he didn't change management, he wasn't fucking with him no more. You understand? And they had a real big beef behind that. And Craig wasn't getting rid of his management.
Salute, Marty. I see you, Marty.
Dude had been with him for a long time. So Craig said, yo, let's...
Salute, Marty. Let me find another one, y'all, because we already went over this. All right, let's come to Gene Deal talking about Mace dissing Puffy. See, Puffy hands is very dirty. And What was always told to us was done in the dark will come to light. No rapper, salute Leggin, appreciate you for pulling up. No rapper, no record executive, Suge, none of them has accusations brought against them the kind that P. Diddy has. And P. Diddy name been attached to negativity for as long as I can remember. Okay, this is what I want to hear right now. I want y'all to pay attention to this. Now, this is Gene Deal speaking on Jay-Z and Puffy, telling the feds about Suge, Jay Prince, and Irv Gotti. I spoke about this. Remember, I spoke on that there was going to be a distribution company. Suge, Dame, Irv, Jay Prince, and I believe Master P, but they were going to get a distribution company together. And if they would have got that distribution company together, then everything pertaining to hip hop would have been controlled by us. Somebody tipped off the elite. Listen to Gene Deal. He gonna tell you who it was that tipped off the elite. And yesterday I played the demonstration where T-Boz from TLC mentioned that Puff Daddy snitched on them. Listen, y'all.
In the last interview we did, you were speaking about how Puffy, he told on Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Jay Prince about the distribution company they was trying to make. How do you know for a fact that Puffy told the police? So if you don't mind, can you break that down some more, yo, for the people?
Because it wasn't the police, it was the feds, one of the persons who was with them. So you got to understand this, right? Suge Knight was bringing terror onto Uptown Records, had them scared. You understand? Had them scared. That's why Andre Harrell would hire a person like Bill Whitfield that was a strong dude that didn't care about nothing and then would do his thing against somebody or anybody. He did everything to protect Andre Harrell. But and this is the situation, Suge was extorting them. And they thought he was using extortion tactics. You understand? To get Mary J. Blige's contract right, to get Jodeci contract right. And it was this other person, I don't know, it was Jeff Red, I don't know who it was, but it was somebody else in Uptown Records that he was helping to try to get their contracts right. Because they wasn't getting no points, no publishing, they wasn't getting nothing but show money. You understand what I'm saying? So now, when Puff, Kirk Burroughs, that's the other person that was with them, they go up to the feds with all this paperwork, you understand? And I mentioned this before, you understand? They not only talking about the extortion stuff, they talking about how they trying to be made to have this what you call this promotion, this distribution thing. And which I'm finding out they wasn't even going to be a part of it until later. But they was in fear, like they was trying to be made to be a part of this whole distribution thing that Suge Knight was trying to build up with Rockefeller, because it was Dame Dash, it was Irv Gotti, it was Jay Prince, and Death Row. You understand what I'm saying? So now everybody wanna know who's this and who's that, and want to go back and say, yo, how do you know? It came from the horse's mouth. He said he got all the paperwork to prove it. Kirk Burroughs said it plenty of times, but nobody won't sit down with him. I mean, like, you won't get none of these, these radio stations and all this stuff like that to sit down with him. He said, I got the paperwork. He got files from the from the DEA and the FBI, all that stuff like that.
Nobody would touch it. Nobody would sit down. Same way the lady Natanya Rubin that was shot in the club in 99 by P. Diddy. Nobody would dare go up against P. Diddy because of the power that he had, the money and the people that he had backing him. Nobody would dare touch any accusations brought against P. Diddy. But see, every Doug has his day. Every Doug has his day. God don't like ugly. Now, all of those people that P. Diddy was able to victimize, all those, and I'm going to say it, is what happened to Suge Knight. Now, this is when Suge Knight dark side comes into play, because Suge Knight was able to get away with a lot of negativity until what? He got jammed up on a humble. The body, the homicide, the unaliving that they got Suge on, it wasn't even a homicide that Suge done. It was an accident. Everybody know that. Everybody seen that it was an accident. If you can't tell, if you can't see that that was an accident, they rush Suge. Suge did what anybody would have did. Suge feared for his life. But it's the same thing that happened with Suge. Suge got jammed up on a humble, but all the dirt that Suge done, it did what? It caught up with him. Now, all the dirt that P. Diddy has done, it then caught up with him. You can't continue to do dirt to people and think, salute Sages, and think you're going to get away with it. The system, the universal law is set up. And it's this thing in the universal law that's called karma. I can't escape karma. You can't escape karma. You, he, she, none of us is exempt from karma. Karma is a biatch. Take it from me. That's why I'm very careful what I do to people. I'm very careful how I move, because I know it's a such thing as karma. And that's what P. Diddy is reaping. You reap what you sow. I said at the same time, Michael, put it in the chat. You reap what you sow. And that's what's happening. So for everyone that want to feel sorry for P. Diddy, everyone that wants to feel like it's a black man being torn down, I challenge y'all. I challenge y'all. So what are we supposed to do? Just because P. Diddy is a black man, what are we supposed to do? Give him a pass? Huh? But if P. Diddy victimized your daughter, if P. Diddy victimized somebody in your family, would you feel the same way? See, we got a big problem with turning the blind eye, as long as it's not involving us. Shit, I don't like her, or I don't like him. Man, fuck that. What would we got a big problem with doing that? Yeah, the American people got a big problem with turning the blind eye when it's not affecting us. And that ain't right, and that ain't cool. A victim is a victim regardless who that victim is. It's still a victim. They still didn't deserve it. Exactly, Rolef. He victimized his own. So why should we feel sorry for him? Fuck him. Fuck him. Do you think P. Diddy care about me? Do you think P. Diddy care about you? Do you think P. Diddy care about you, him and her? P. Diddy don't give a damn about us. It's called accountability. I want to go to Big U now. We're going to come back to P. Diddy. Now, Big U is or was a shot caller for the Rolling 60s. It's a Crip gang out in Los Angeles, California. Allegedly, folks are saying that Big U was actually behind the death of Nipsey Hussle. It's coming out that Big U is calling the cops on people. Now, this is one thing I'm going to say when it comes to calling the cops. And I know some people live by a code. No matter what, not to call the cops. But I'm here to speak on it. Some incidents, it's best to call the cops. Do that make me a snitch? No, that don't make me a snitch. That make me a smart man. But we're going to chop Big U's calling the cops. We're going to chop it up and see, was it justified for Big U to call the cops? And I'm going to let y'all be the judge. I think that if it's some street-ish, well, I'm not going to say I think. I'm going to say, if it's street-ish involved, you're not supposed to call the cops. If it's some street-ish involved, you're not supposed to call the cops. But in some incidents, what incident? Let's say if there has been a missing child or a missing person report, and you happen to see a man and a woman holding this missing child hostage. You spot the child and you know that's that little girl that they had on the news that went missing. Call the cops. Call the cops. That's an incident when call the cops. Why? Because it's a kidnapping involved. It's a kidnapping involved. And even if you take the liberty on yourself and go up on the man and the woman and do what you got to do to get the kid away from that man and woman, you still going to have to call the cops to report it. So that's an incident when calling the cops is justified. Call the cops. But let's first read. Because everybody doesn't know Big U. All of y'all don't have an idea who Big U is. So let me just give y'all facts. About Big U. And then that way we can judge this and judge it fairly. So it says, standing at a towering 6 feet 5 inches tall with a large and powerful presence, Eugene Henley, that's his government name, affectionately known as Big U, is a world-renowned street legend, community activist, entertainment industry executive, and owner of the record label Unique Music. Dependable, honest, and fearless are just some of the words to describe the upright man that Big U is. Earl says, what about if your car gets stolen? Call the cops. Look, y'all, some incidents, call the cops. If it's some street-ish, then you can't call the cops. And y'all know what street-ish I'm talking about. But if it's not no street-ish, if somebody steal your car, you better call the cops, because the insurance company gonna want that police report, and the only way you're gonna get some money, or the only way you're gonna get some repairs, the only way you're going to be able to file insurance claim, you got to have a police report. Call the cops. It says, as a product of South Central Los Angeles, Big U equates his upbringing as a time of gratitude, not having everything he wanted, but for sure having everything he needed. Heavily influenced by Eugene Henley Sr., Donald Ray Evans, and Keith Thomas, brotherhood and camaraderie come as second nature to Henley. Big U's greatest achievement to date is being a voice for the streets. In the streets, as an advocate for literacy, self-education has been a driving force in his accomplishments to assist young black men in going to college, affording young men the opportunity to embark on post-secondary education to better themselves, enhance their environments, and create long-lasting legacies is what Big U stand firmly on. So he's an advocate. He's an advocate for the youth. And I want to commend him on that. It says, in extension to his impact, Big U educates the community and young artists on the importance of securing ownership and providing ample opportunities for people who have never been given a chance. Big U's nonprofit organization, Developing Options, was birthed in 2004 after his incarceration and as part of his mission to impact the community beyond gang violence, drugs, and crime. With music being a foundation in Big U's life, his music industry accolades include jump-starting the careers of West Coast legends Corrupt and Nipsey Hussle. Now, when Corrupt moved from Philly to LA. Now, Corrupt was affiliated with the Rolling 60s. Now, Corrupt got in the car. The Rolling 60s was getting ready to do a drive-by. Corrupt was in that car with the Rolling 60s. Big U found out that Corrupt was in that car and they was getting ready to go do a drive-by. And Big U said, ain't that the little dude, ain't that the little homie that be rapping? And they was like, yeah. Big U stopped that car and made Corrupt get out that car. And I think that that was honorable for Big U to have done because he seen something in Corrupt. Now, if Big U didn't make Corrupt get out that car, ain't no telling what would have became of Corrupt. We might have not had an opportunity to meet Corrupt the rapper. A drive-by, two things can happen in a drive-by. You could kill somebody and go to prison for killing them, or either you could get killed. So I think that Big U, to me, is a stand-up guy. And when it comes to the OGs, that's what being an OG is all about. It's not about shooting nobody, even though that might come with the territory. But being an OG is not about shooting nobody. Being an OG is not about selling dope. Being an OG is not about going to prison. Being an OG is not about fighting people. That's not what makes you an OG. What makes you an OG is being a leader. Do you have leadership? And if you got leadership, then you would have done what Big U done when you seen a little homie that you knew had potentials to be something and make something out of their life. You would have did what Big U done. You would have made the little homie get out the car. Now, I'm saying this to everybody out there, whether you're considered to be an OG or not. If you see the little homies doing something and you know that they ain't cut out for that, or you know that the little homie got potentials to make something out of their life, would you step in and say, nah, little homie, this ain't for you? That's what makes you a OG, being a leader. It says, an extension to his impact. I think I read that, but I'm gonna read it again. Big U educates the community. Yeah, I read that. It says Big U's nonprofit organization, Developing Options, was birthed in 2004 after his incarceration and as part of his mission to impact the community beyond gang violence, drugs, and crime. With music being a foundation in Big U's life, his music industry advocate. I read this. Yeah, I read this. West Coast legends Corrupt and Nipsey Hussle. By doing so, he provided opportunities for both artists to cultivate their brand within the community, but also within the music industry. It says, motivated by his love for music and his desire to aid black men and propel the culture positively, Big U's approach to life and challenges are none other than unique. Legacy being prime real estate in Big U's world. It is what he longs to accomplish throughout his life. Big U often utters his life quote, nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. I like that. Nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream, which is his motivation for the youth. The education comes first. Hard work is key. Now, I wanted to give y'all a brief introduction on Big U. So let's dive into this Big U calling the cops. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here.
What's good, y'all? It's the Answer. We back with another update, man. This time, Big U, Whack, back at it. Now, y'all all know Big U does community programs, football, helping the youth. But allegedly, that comes with a contract that says you need to update law enforcement with any goings on that may be unlawful. Now, that's in direct conflict with his affiliations, as y'all know. So apparently last night, he called 911 on a female. Is this true or not? I don't know, man. I'm going to let y'all be the judge. I appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll give you another update during the video, but let's get to the content. It's your boy, The Answer, man. Let's rock out.
600 running. I think Big U done got the 600. I done hit the nigga 15 times. Nigga ain't pulled up. Y'all let y'all know 600. Big U done got you the nigga, bro.
Oh,
Let me ping that nigga again, man. What I 600? The nigga run, bro. I think Big U got to him. He been quiet as a motherfucker. I think, listen, won't even come out. They faded that nigga out to that country out there. It's Ramadan. And Big U sent that nigga some visitors, bro, that didn't look like us. Did they tap? They tapped his shoulder. No, he's scared as a motherfucker. Ain't no way. I sent 600. All this content. He ain't did no reaction.
I don't want that, y'all. It's a clip. I'm trying to get the clip of the actual lady talking about. She also mentioned that Big U was bullying her as well. Give me a minute, y'all. Let me try to find this clip. Give me a minute. Why is it so hard for me to find? This might be it, y'all. No, that ain't it. Okay. Let's try this. All right, let's try that. No. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. I'm coming, y'all. All right, I'm going to play this. Now, this is, because I know a couple of y'all asked me about, do I think Big U had anything to do with Nipsey Hussle's death? I'm going to play this while I search for the clip of him calling the cops on the SKG lady.
Like, different like narratives going on around about you. And, when I first met you, I'm like, and I looked at you and I'm like, and I told my girl, I'm like, nah, that nigga, he a good nigga. You know what I'm saying? So and I told a couple homies too, I'm like, nah, because I think I'm a good judge of character, but the rest of the world, still paint you as a villain though. You feel me? So it's like damn, like how do it feel to be like, do it fuck with you sometimes to be painted as a villain out here?
Only when it fucks with the money.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta come feel a person's energy. And I read so many books and I read so many books like that you have to just go through certain things. Like nobody's never gonna see you for what you are. That's why they say a lot to one to Allah knows a man's heart.
And that's true. That's true. People will never see you for who you really are. You might catch one or two. Excuse me, y'all.
That means won't. So basically, I look at it like that. Like, I mean, I got to just do. When you did, they're going to say all the good things you did. Facts. Point blank. Yeah. I went to my homeboy's funeral yesterday, and I'm looking at his obituary. And I'm looking like, dang, I didn't know he did all that. Yeah. And I'm just looking like, wow. What a loss. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I don't know, bro, and that's all they're going to do. Read your scroll then. But I mean, it's like, I got to be the best. Even when I'm like with Maul, I should be with Maul. No matter what, when I walk through the door, I'm the bad guy. For sure.
But why they put that on you, though?
They come in because it's black. I'm black. I'm big. I fit the
I can vouch for him for that. So many jackets get put on me, like, I be like, huh? But you got to be careful when y'all put jackets on people because people can lose their lives like that. You know what I mean? If y'all constantly making a person out to be this bad person, and this person ain't done nothing to nobody, y'all can put fear in other people about this person. Such as a person like Big U. Now, if everybody is saying, watch out for Big U gonna do this, Big U did that, Big U, a person that fears Big U could be coming up to him on some straight humble-ish. Like some, what's up with you? And the dude then heard all these effed up and jacked up stories about you. The dude mess around and pull out his pow and take you up out of there. So y'all gotta be careful. I say it all the time. Stop dragging people's name in the mud. Stop it. Especially if you don't know that person yourself, because the information that you receive from a person about a person, that could be that person's biggest hater. I tell a motherfucker all the time, you got to be careful who you ask about Shank, because you might ask a female who wanted to get down with me, and I shot her down. So you could imagine what she gonna have to say about me. If it's a female that I rejected her advances, she ain't gonna have nothing nice to say about me. You might ask a dude who, girl, I took from him. He definitely ain't gonna have nothing nice to say about me. So y'all gotta be careful with the information that y'all get from people when they talk about people. Y'all gotta be careful, man. Seriously.
Two black big boys. That's why you got big rings, huh? It's kind of racist when you look at it, because the big black guys are the ones you gotta watch. Remember, the only one that's gonna help you. Like I want all that bit by myself, right? I'm like, but then I mean, if I'm by myself, like I mostly be, I swear to God, I done been placed by myself, and I be talking to somebody, and the room would be like, Big, you was doing like 30 dudes. For sure. Yeah. I'm literally by myself. I stopped to talk.
I want to find it, y'all. Now, she speaks about Nipsey Hussle allegedly setting her up. That's not what I want. That's not what I want. I want the actual, I'm looking for the actual audio clip. If anybody got that audio clip of Big U calling the cops on SKG, send it to my Facebook Messenger. I think I got it, y'all. Hold tight.
The average American wastes over $1,000.
Mr. Mayor, welcome to Showface News. You call me what you want, just don't call me woke. You're not rocking with the town favorite. Showface News is big Gotham. Everybody knows the town news. Everybody at all times. Look, we have, Whack 100 dropping a video that allegedly proves that Big U called the police on another ruling 60s Crip member named SKG, who's also a popular female rapper out west. All right.
Let's see if we get something out of this.
Judging by this video,
make sure y'all hit the like button.
100 telling the truth. Well, let's get into this footage, gang. Make sure you hit the like.
All right, this the female.
It's the mayor. Stop playing. Come on.
Listen, y'all.
You bully? You a bully. Oh, did you lock me in the spot? Yeah, call the police. Call them now so I can press charges for what you did to me. Minding my business with my family. He came over to where I was and started antagonizing me. So I reacted.
Was this downstairs?
Yes, it was downstairs. And then he told them to call the police on me when he was doing stuff to me. He walked up to where what was his side of the story? Let's hear Big Q's side. What's his side?
All he said was that you guys have a history.
It's really why are you arresting me? Injustice, y'all. Oh, so he signed the private person's arrest on him? Injustice.
Okay.
So she actually got locked up.
Big U might have called the police. All right. Now look, in this case, due to politics out west, you cannot call the police for any reason, especially on your own game. Facts. All right. Now, this very much may be a violation. Let's just keep it 1,000, gang. If the man called the police on another gang member, yes, he's violating. Now, Big U did say he's pretty much done with this gang banging nonsense. I don't know if Big U still abides by these gang politics.
And see, that's the thing. That's the thing. If you gang banging, if you in the streets, if you doing your thing in the streets, you can't call the police. You can't call the law. You can't call the law. If it's on some street ish, you can't call the law. You can't. Now, if you used to be in the gang, if you used to be in the streets, and if you change your life around, and if you ain't no longer in the streets, if you are what the streets consider a civilian, if you are a civilian, then you got every right in the world to call the police. If you are operating as a civilian is a civilian. They're not in the streets. So you have every right to call the police, but you got to, like I tell people all the time, especially for us men, and I think that this applies to white men as well, but especially us as men. If a female called the police on us, them people coming, and 9 times out of 10, if that female say we threaten her, if that female say we put hands on her, 9 times out of 10, them people gonna lock us up. Now, when it comes to those type of situations, I'm just keeping it 100, fellas. You gonna have to really think about it. It's either her or me that's getting locked up. Now, I done been in situations where females swung on me. I done been in one situation when a female hit me and the police came and I lied. And I told the police, I ain't tell the police that the female swung on me. I ain't tell the police that the female hit me. I lied. But if I know what I know now, I'd have told the police, yeah, she hit me. Why? Because if I hit her, you already know what they were going to do with me. They'd lock me up. So this is one of them situations where Amy says, yes, the police going to lock y'all men up. Right. And that's any nationality of a man. Black man, white man, Mexican man, Puerto Rican man. If the law comes about a female and that female says he hit, they locking us up. So as men, we have to be very, very careful, and when it comes to how we move and about, especially when it comes to the law. I mean, it is what it is. I done spent enough time in jail getting locked up on some BS, on some bogus charges that I eventually beat. But the point of it is that the charges was bogus.
At all I know is that I remember Big U saying that he's kind of putting his gang banging thing to the side, which is why he was probably with Gunna out there in LA as well. And Gunna's a no rag, by the way. But here's what Wack 100 is actually saying as a result of this video. Take a look. I'm going to read this to y'all. And he said this: Big U, why did you mention my name to the police this night? Why did you call the police and make a private person's arrest, Penal Code 837 PC and 849 PC on Helicia Hoyce, who is also SKG? All y'all selected politicking. See and hear what this is. Big U ain't a voice of face of West. He's the face of the LAPD. This bozo told the police SKG is in a play with Wack 100 while shaking my head. Now, I didn't hear him say anything about your name. All right? You're saying that he mentioned your name as if you were somebody to be mentioned. And guess what? In this footage, we never heard your name mentioned. In case I'm bugging or anyone else is bugging, we'll run this video back to see where Wack 100's name got mentioned, champ. Hit the like, share the video.
Really? You was a bully. Oh, did you lock me in the spot? Yeah, call the police. Call them now so I can press charges for what you did to me.
What? How does that look? Amy says, it's like men don't have a chance when women say and lie about a man, put hands on them. And we don't have a chance. We don't. We got to be extra careful when it comes to a female just because of the gender roles. If so, with Big U calling the police on the female, I understand where he's coming from. But even with him calling the police, some people going to consider him as he's soft. They're going to consider him as a chump. They're going to consider him as a punk. It's like, how do you win as a man in these kind of situations? Whatever we do, it's always looked down on. Because now if he demonstrates on her, slap her up, choke her up or something like that, first thing that people going to say is, that's a woman. Why you put your hands on her? So now he's getting the law involved. That could go either way. And y'all know how Whack 100 is. Whack 100 is trolling the hell out of Big U. Whack 100 is calling them all kind of snitches. Whack 100 is riding Big U about calling the police. But y'all be the judge. Y'all let me know about this. In a situation like this, he feels as though the woman is violating him. So he feel like, I'm going to get the police involved. Does that make him less of a man? Because he's calling the police on a woman? I'm keeping it 100. I think he's doing the right thing by getting the law involved. If he's not an active gang member. Now, if he's a gang member, if he's doing his thing, then nah, you can't get the law involved. You can't get the law involved. But if he's doing the right thing, and I read to y'all a brief summary of what he got going on. So to me, I don't believe that he's still active with the gangs. I don't think he's still gang banging. I mean, at his age and his accomplishments, he would be a fool to still be out there gang banging. Y'all let me know. How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about this? Let me know. Should a man call the police on a female? What y'all think? Come on, chat. Let me know what y'all think. Does that make Big U less of a man? Does that make a man less of a man if they call the police on a female? Salute 80s, baby. Salute Sages. I see y'all. Marie. As I said before, call the law. Call me what you want to call me. I'm calling the law on you. You put your hands on me, you do something to me, I'm calling the law on you. Because if I demonstrate, then I'm going to look like the bad person. And I'm just going to be honest with y'all. Folks ain't even worth it. When people do something to you and you sit back and it's easy for you to demonstrate. Lord knows it's easy for you to demonstrate. But that's when you got to put on your thinking cap and you got to say to yourself, is me entertaining this fool, is me entertaining this person worth it? 10 times out of 10, it ain't worth it. Salute, Miss Groovy. If they don't physically try to attack you, man, let that shit slide. Let that shit slide. Because as I spoke about the P.Diddy karma, let them meet their karma. It's a such thing as karma. Let them meet their karma. Karma is the best revenge. And all you do is just sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. Do you think Diddy and Jay-Z had sex with each other? Allegedly, that's what they saying, Bobby. Amy says, yes, if she done wrong, because nobody should have special treatment, male or female. And that's facts. And as men, that's how we get wrapped up into so much BS, worrying about our respect. That's the dumbest thing that holds us down as men. Respect. Man, fuck that respect. You hear me? F that respect. A lot of men have lost their lives. A lot of men have lost their freedom behind respect. The only kind of respect that a man should seek, the only kind of respect that a man should worry about is the respect that comes from his family. Do his wife respect him? Do his children respect him? Is you doing what you're supposed to be doing as a man by your wife? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing as a man by your children? That's the only respect I want. You think I care if you respect me? Because one thing's for sure that I know, people say what they want to say behind your back, but ain't too many people going to say no reckless stuff about you in your face. And that's a fact. So that respect that we get caught up on, worrying about respect, man, F that respect, man. I got a family to think about. So nobody don't want to talk about the big U. Only Amy want to talk about the big U. Everybody want to talk. Chad, don't nobody want to talk about the big U. I guess Big U ain't as popular on my channel as P. Diddy is. Leslie says, trouble is easy to get into and hard to get out of. My auntie once said, use your head for more than a hat rack. And that's facts. Miss Groovy says, Big U been a snitch. And that's facts. Bobby King says, who is Big U? And that's facts. Well, they have been saying that Big U have been snitching. They said Wack said he got paperwork on Big U. Wack is the king of paperwork. Wack is the king of paperwork. Miss Groovy says Wack ain't no better. You right? How do y'all feel about Wack and Big U? That's another thing. Like, Wack represents the red side. Big U represents the blue side. They both get money. Chad says, it's not a surprise that all this stuff was going on. There has been people saying it was for years and ain't no one done anything about it. Bobby King says, if it brings down a monster. Miss Groovy says, when I saw him laughing with Big U after Nipsey got on Alive, I lost all respect for him too. Yeah. I feel some type of way with Big U and Wack when it comes to Nipsey Hussle. Like, you know, the unaliving of Nipsey Hussle was like, what are we doing, people? What are we doing? Are we realizing the people that we're unaliving? I still listen to Diddy's music. I feel the same way about P. Diddy, the same as I feel about R. Kelly. I feel like music-wise, I feel like they gave us some classics. So I still listen to Diddy's music. Chad says, a time is coming when all that has been done in the dark will be revealed. And as my sister says, we're living in revelations. We're living in revelations right now. Bobby says, why? It's good music. Miss Groovy says, when you could celebrate someone losing their life, it's a no for me. Bobby says, you wrong for that. And I might be wrong for that. I might be. How many of y'all feel as though that I'm wrong for listening to P. Diddy and R. Kelly's music? Drop a 1 if you think I'm wrong for listening to P. Diddy's music and R. Kelly. Drop a 2 if you don't see nothing wrong with me listening to their music. Let's talk, y'all. Amy says, Chad, it's all will be revealed. People will be shocked at who all involved. Chad says, we done seen some of the stuff and revelations come true. And that's facts. Bobby King thinks I'm wrong for listening to P. Diddy and R. Kelly's music. Who else feels like I'm wrong? 80s baby feel like I'm wrong for listening to P. Diddy. Amy don't feel like I'm wrong. Okay. Drop a 1. Bobby dropped another 1. I get your point, Bobby. Drop a 1 if y'all feel like I'm wrong. Drop a 2 if you don't feel like I'm wrong. Chad dropped a 3. I listened to neither, so I can't comment. Nobody else don't want to comment? All right, let's see this right here, y'all. This about Diddy. Let's see.
Let's start from the top. Fam, do anybody know who this is? Do anybody know who this is? I'll wait. Do anybody know who this is? This is the crazy thing about this. This guy here, 5 years ago, in fact, let me read the story for you. Do anybody know who this guy is? Fam, if you don't, I'm going to put you up on game. I hope you do, because it's going to make my job much easier. Let me put you up on game. On May 18th, 2018.
Now let's talk about Trump. I don't want that. Let's see what Nancy Grace got to say about P. Diddy.
The number one food that kills testosterone and metabolism.
Let's see what Nancy Grace got to say.
Hours, not 1, not 2, but 3 locations rated. Locations connected to the rap mogul Sean Diddy Combs. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories and on Sirius XM 111. Why Diddy? Why Sean Puffy Combs, as he was once known? Well, according to what we are learning, the raids by the feds, by HSI, Homeland Security investigators, much of the PC, probable cause, was gleaned from multiple lawsuits filed against Combs. Now, that's not just from what we're learning. Combs' own lawyer spoke out in a very unfortunate statement for Combs. You never reveal your thinking prior to a trial. But the lawyer did. What are they saying? That all these victims are lying? I mean, think about it. No one wants to see the demise of a superstar. But are superstars to be held above the law? Because I say no. Again, I'm Nancy Grace. Thank you for being with us here on SiriusXM and at Crime Stories. First of all, this is what we know happened. Listen to Sydney Sumner, Crime Online.
On Monday, large teams of law enforcement led by Homeland Security investigators raided 3 homes belonging to Sean Diddy Combs in Los Angeles and Miami as part of a sex trafficking investigation stemming from accusations leveled against Combs in 5 separate lawsuits brought against him. The latest suit, filed in February by music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, details frequent drug use, a shooting, and several accounts of sex assault while working with Combs on the Love album.
That's what we know right now, but there's more. And I can tell you this much. When the feds roll up in armored vehicles wearing Kevlar, that's not good for you. That's not good at all. We're hearing a lot of whining this morning by the defense about, oh, they messed up the inside of his house. Boo-hoo. Listen to Dave Mack, Crime Online.
In the 73-page document, Jones claims that Combs forced him to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts with them as Combs looked on. Jones also alleges the rapper threw parties he called freak-offs, during which underage girls and sex workers were given laced drinks and assaulted. Combs' son Justin, producer Stevie J, and associate Brendan Paul allegedly supplied the women and drugs for the party. The suit goes on to say that Combs' access to major celebrities, athletes, and even British royals such as Prince Harry gave him and his followers legitimacy.
You're seeing the cover of Rolling Stone with Combs on the front of it in his then new album, No Way Out. It says he's the new king of hip-hop. There you see, that's when he was going under the moniker Puff Daddy. With me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. But first, straight out to Kayla Brantley joining us, investigative reporter, dailymail.com. Kayla, thank you for being with us. Tell me what happened, because we saw simultaneous raids. A lot has been made of that. Hold on just a second, Kayla. Let me go to Nima Rahmani joining us, high-profile lawyer, and more importantly, former federal prosecutor, a president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers Association and author of Harvard to Hashtag. Nima, thank you for being with us. A lot has been made and a lot of whining and crying because there were multiple raids that went down simultaneously. Boo-hoo. The reason that happens is so when you get raided in LA, you can't call your peeps in Miami and go, quick, 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 hide 1, 2, 3, and 4, destroy 5, 6, 7, and 8, and P.S. run for the hills as if you had seen a monster. That's why it's got to be very carefully orchestrated and timed, very organized to go down at the same time for that very reason, Nima.
Well, Nancy, that's exactly right. And the raid in Los Angeles took place about a mile from where I'm sitting right now. I live close to Diddy's home. And, and I also know Aaron Dyer. I used to work with him. I respect him. But I think he's making that argument for the court of public opinion more than the courtroom. And you're right. There's 3 reasons why federal agents go in and they go aggressively. 1, there's always a threat of violence. And Diddy reportedly has a lot of weapons, and this is a large
Hold
house.
on. Nima, look at your screen. You are seeing video that our friend Harvey Levin at TMZ gave us. They somehow managed to get in there and get video of Diddy's home, Combs' home, after the raid. And yeah, it looks like a storm hit it. Next. Go ahead, Nima.
This is par for the course. This is normal. Agents need to make sure that no one flees the jurisdiction. evidence isn't destroyed. That's why the raids are executed simultaneously when individuals are removed from the home, they're cuffed, they're detained. No one was arrested, but Diddy was treated just like any other criminal defendant or target of an investigation when these search warrants are executed.
Guys, what do you expect? The HSI Homeland Security investigators to be the Minute Maid and clean up after a search? Yeah, that's not happening. Guys, in the last hours, a lot of whining and complaining and switching of tail and gnashing of teeth because the feds, quote, left a mess in Diddy's mansions. You know what? With multiple, somebody spent a lot of money on shoes. Guys, this is from TMZ. Whoa, hey, I'm taking all that straight to the bank. I'm putting that on eBay and I'm making about $1 million. This is Combs's home after the search. Hey, I'm really surprised all the clothes are still hanging on the racks. To me, that's preferential treatment because on searches that I have been on and conducted, nothing is left unturned. Not a thing. Every pocket, every coat, every drawer, under every bed, furniture has to be dislodged. You've got to find out if there are secret compartments anywhere. Because guess what? Very often, there are. It's amazing what people will do to hide contraband or evidence. What evidence am I talking about? I'm talking about videos, potential videos of underage girls and boys in the middle of sex acts. Now, number one, an underage child, some jurisdictions under 18, some under 16, some under 15, cannot consent to sex activity. So even if they appear to be willing in a video, does anybody remember R. Kelly, for Pete's sake, where he urinated on a teen girl? Yeah, that's not consensual. I don't care what she said at the time. Videos that could easily be hidden, even if they are in physical form. For all I know, they're just on a computer. That's why every computer, every laptop, every phone, every iPad, everything has to be seized. And you know what I'm waiting on? Nima Ramani, I'm waiting on that return. Explain, what is a return, Ramani?
So there's a search warrant and an application, and when the search warrant is executed, there's a return that's filed with the court, and it identifies all the property that's been seized. And like you said, Nancy, what they're looking for here is evidence of sex trafficking and the production of child pornography. Reportedly, if you believe these civil lawsuits, not only were they sex acts, they were recorded. That's a crime, both in terms of the act and the recording. And we're talking about mandatory minimum sentences. So it's just probably going to be a matter of days before Diddy is indicted, an indictment is unsealed. So this is all going to become public.
Wait, let me see, Ramani. Put him up. Ramani. Again, you're reading like, you sound like you're reading out of the Farmer's Almanac about the crop report for next year. Listen. Sean P. Combs has been targeted. Now, everybody keeps saying he's not the target. That's BS, because these are his homes on two sides of the country. The people at his homes were put in handcuffs during the search, and that is SOP, standard operating procedure, so nobody gets shot. There's a lot of whining going on about that too. But in a home where you are looking for guns, you do not leave the inhabitants free to grab a gun and start shooting. So stop whining about that too. Combs is facing an indictment. I'm agreeing with you. This is a big deal. We're not reading the crop report for 2025. This tells me nobody is above the law. Not even Combs.
No one is above the law, and really the chickens are coming home to roost. This really started in November when ex-girlfriend Cassie filed that bombshell lawsuit, and she spilled the tea. And obviously Diddy settled it the following day, but really it was too little too late. Here's someone that was in a 10-year relationship with Diddy, and once she filed, she encouraged other alleged victims to come forward, one after another. And if you believe the reports, some of those victims are already cooperating with law enforcement. And we know that there's enough probable cause because a federal judge signed off on these 2 search warrants. So it's going to be interesting to see what evidence shows up in that return, what federal agents pull from those electronics, because that digital footprint, Nancy, I think that's going to be the evidence that puts Diddy away.
I think you're right, because you can discount, I can't, but some people discount eyewitnesses and victims. But when you've got it,
He said that the fact that the federal judge signed off on the warrant, they had to go with some kind of probable cause in order for that federal judge to sign off on that warrant. You just can't go to a federal judge and say, we want to raid P. Diddy's homes. You just can't go and say, we want to raid P. Diddy's homes. The judge is going to ask on what grounds, what probable cause. Do y'all have probable cause? Why do y'all want to search P. Diddy's home? So whatever evidence, whatever probable cause that they gave that federal judge must have been enough for that federal judge to warrant that warrant. So best believe it's the same way with P.Diddy. They raided the homes. Then a week later, they came and they arrested P.Diddy. In the next month or 2, probably not even that long. Probably not that long. But take it from me. They are going to arrest P. Diddy. And it's coming. They're coming for P. Diddy for what? Sex trafficking. Listen. Cassie. You got Cassie. Okay? He settled out of court. And the reason why he done that, to keep it hush-hush. That's why he settled so fast. But now you got this producer, Little Rod. Sex trafficking. They jammed up at the airport P. Diddy's mural. The dude, I forgot his name, the dude that was the one that was getting the drugs for him and stuff. And going out, searching for individuals. Mark my word. We will be waking up in less than a month. We will be waking up to the arrest of P. Diddy. It's coming. It's coming, y'all. Let me read a couple comments and then we're going to get out of here. Ann says, wonder if he keeps records of these dealings. Amy says, what probable cause better be a good, but in a way, by everybody talking about his parties lately would give me a hint to hide everything. Of course he did. He had cameras in every room in his house. He wasn't going down alone. Miss Groovy, yes, his drug mill talent mill is what you can prove in the court of law. And I played on a previous demonstration. Gene Deal said, if the feds need me to come to testify, I'm coming. So you got Gene Deal. You got Lil Rod. You got the mill. They knew what they was doing when they jammed him up. Why do you think they jammed him up? Yes, Amy. Salute, Suntan. I see a lot of people is going to be singing. A lot. You're going to have all kind of people coming out of the Woolworth. You're going to have all kind of skeletons falling out of the closet. It is what it is. He can't get around it. And as I stated earlier, P. Diddy done it to himself. He don't have nobody to blame but himself. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I appreciate everybody for pulling up to this demonstration. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash app is $ERICMCINT. Once again, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. And I'll see everybody on the next demonstration. Salute y'all. I'll leave the chat up for a little while. Well, R. Kelly happy because Miss Groovy Brennan is going to use his YouTube. Diddy is done deal. Salute everybody.